Hello, everybody. Baron Bananas back again. And as you can see, we're back to Katawa Shoujo. Last week was, to put it simply, very emotional. We finished off Lily's route. She broke up with us. She spent her last day at the school finishing up any business she had. And we walked her to Akira's car, and she was headed to the airport. But we chased her down. We just had to see her one more time, because we realized we were never there for her. So, despite our body fighting against it, we pressed on and nearly killed ourselves, just a few feet away from her. Thankfully, in the end, though, she came back. She came back because she loves Hisao. She wanted to stay with him. It's a very, very heartfelt ending. But that was last week. One moment. Okay, there we go. This week, we are going back. We'll be loading up a previous save, and we will be going onto the Emmy route, which is why Emmy's picture is colored, below me. We finished Lily. We're moving on to Emmy. So there we are. The second save we made in the whole game. We're going way, way back to Act 1. That's a while ago. So, just as a recap for everybody who wasn't there for Act 1. At this point in the game, our main character, Hisao, has discovered he has arrhythmia, a heart condition, and has nearly died from it. He spent 3 months in the hospital recovering from surgery, and he's now at Yamaku Academy, a school for disabled students. So for the first week of his time here, he's been trying to adjust and meeting a few people who are somewhat interesting. There's the bespectacled and blue-haired Shizune, his class rep and school student council president, who was born deaf and mute. He also meets the timid Hanako, whose half her body is horribly scarred from burns. We've also, of course, met the kind and elegant Lily, who was born blind. At some point, we had run into going to the art room to get some supplies. We ran into the somewhat free-thinking and potentially absent-minded Rin. She was born with no arms. But she is an artist. She does everything with her feet. But the one we're going with today is good old Emmy. She's a member of the school's track team, and she also has no legs below her knees. She is easily the most excitable and happy-go-lucky of the bunch. So I'm gonna load up our save real quick. So at this point, the nurse has actually told us we need to exercise. Just some light exercise, it'll help to strengthen our heart, to lessen the chances of us, having a repeat heart attack. So he tells us to go to the track and do some, laps around laps around the whole track. We get there, and we find Emmy there, who is kind of the nurse's, spy, as she quoted, to make sure he shows up. So we've already had one, morning of running with Emmy, and this is our second one. We kind of feel not so great after our first time around because after one lap, we were already dead tired, while Emmy, who was already running when we got there, is still, keeping up her same pace and going around the track. So right now, we're feeling a little adventurous. On our first playthrough, we said to take it easy and just give up right there, but no. Not this time. We're gonna go for it. We are gonna push ourselves to better ourselves. We're gonna prove to Emmy we're not so easy to give up. What am I doing here? Am I really just gonna fold and let Emmy pull ahead? I speed up. Second lap's done quickly, and without even considering it, I keep going. Emmy looks back over her shoulder at me and grins. Still going? Wouldn't want you to think I'm out of shape. Emmy laughs, without breaking her stride no less, and speeds up even more. Well, if this is the way you're gonna play things, I increase my own pace as well. I can feel my lungs burning, and my legs are starting to question just what the hell I think I'm doing. Lactic acid screams in my muscles, but I close my ears. Can't let myself fall behind, because that would be a loss. The rational voice in my head inquires mildly just when we started playing a game. I'd answer it, but I'm having a lot of trouble thinking at present. She's so fast. How the hell did you keep up? It's like a string pulling at my chest. A choking feeling of narrowness and pain. Before I can think of anything else, then, oh shit. The track disappears from under my feet. I stumble, one hand shooting down to clutch at my chest, the other hitting the track to keep me from falling on my face. Emmy whirls around and her eyes widen. Sao? She yells at me, sprinting from the other side of the track. What's wrong? Nothing. Just keep your breathing steady. Calm down. Don't panic. Don't panic. Do you need me to get the nurse? I close my eyes, shutting out the outside world. My heart struggles to regain its rhythm. Slowly, the pain in my chest begins to subside. Soon, it's gone like nothing happened. It was nothing? No, something happened there. I open my eyes again and glance at a very worried Emmy. I think I'm fine. My voice sounds weird, even to myself. Oddly even and matter of fact. It makes Emmy frown. I don't think you are. She seems to come to a decision and nods to herself. Right. You're coming with me. You've got to see the nurse. Emmy grabs my arm and drags me up. I feel a bit wobbly, but I refuse the shoulder Emmy offers for support. Honestly, I'm a little ashamed by my own weakness. I'd rather not have Emmy concerned about me, but it seems to be too late. Heck, I'd really rather not have anyone concerned about my condition. Though at this point, it seems to be too late for that as well. I'd like to be able to deal with the whole thing on my own, without being a bother to anyone else. Well, I'm wishing for things, but I'd rather not have this condition in the first place. Nurse! Emmy crashes into his office without knocking, but it doesn't alarm the nurse in the least. Good morning, Sunshine. What's up? Sunshine? Anyway, he calmly slips from his coffee mug, but lays it down after following Emmy's gaze to me looming in the doorway. Isao? What brings you here? We were running, and he stumbled over and started grabbing at his chest, and I thought I could... Easy there, Emmy. Calm down. So, what happened? I don't know. We were running, and then my chest started hurting like that time before, but it went away after a few seconds. It was just a flutter or something. The nurse frowns, as if to say that just a flutter is some kind of oxymoron. I didn't mean quite this when I suggested you get some exercise. You've got to be more careful, Isao. I was being careful. Come to think of it, I just got into a race with a member of the track team. Doesn't seem as well-reasoned as I thought it would. You just what? That is... I was racing Emmy. Emmy, is this true? Emmy fidgets, looking adorably contrite. Well... Finally, she can't seem to bring herself to say it out loud and merely nods. The nurse sighs and rubs his forehead with one hand tiredly. Emmy, you've got to be more sensitive to the limits of others. I don't know if he told you, but Isao was a bad heart, and getting him to race you was incredibly irresponsible. Actually, I started it. The nurse is stunned by my statement. You what? We were just running, and Emmy started to pull away, so I, sped up to catch her. The nurse stares at the ceiling, mutters a prayer for patience to some god or another, and looks back down at both of us. So you're both stupid. That's a comfort, I guess. Now come on, Isao. I've got to make sure your heart's not going to explode or something. I dutifully obey and follow him to the adjacent room, where we ascertain that I am, in fact, not going to keel over and die. So, how does it feel? I don't know. Nothing much. I'm tired, but it might just be from the exercise. You should stay here for a few hours and rest, and we'll see how you feel after that. I'm not gonna object, so I lie down on the infirmary bed. A thoroughly Miserable Emmy comes in after getting an earful from the nurse in the other room. I couldn't hear what he said through the door, but I'm sure it wasn't pleasantries.
Look, I'm really, really sorry. I should have been more careful.
Hey, you didn't know. It's not your fault. She looks awfully down and sorry, and my reassurances don't do anything much to cheer her up.
I want to make it up to you.
Again, with that decisive nod.
So you have to come to lunch with me. I'll bring it for you, okay? Something really, really good.
I start with a you don't have to, but then shut up and just nod at her when I see her face. Oh, Emmy.
Good. We meet on the roof.
Me?
Yep. The weather's nice now, so the roof's a great spot for lunch, you know?
I see.
You'll come, right? You wouldn't deny me the chance to make it up to you?
Of course not.
Great! See you there.
I stay afloat somewhere between asleep and awake, feeling completely drained. Not only my body, but all of me is limp and paralyzed, apart from my senses. I swallow with difficulty, and then try to lie as still as I can, which in this state is not a very hard thing to do. The nurse is shuffling around on the other side of the curtains he drew to give me privacy. I can see his shadow shifting about in the sunlight. He has opened the window in his office. It's windy outside. Clean white curtains flutter in the breeze in a heavy, lazy motion, like waves. Light sifts through them slowly, half absorbing into the fabric. I close my eyes. The breeze on my face feels like the soft fabric of the curtains. I listen to the sound of my heartbeat for a moment, trying to shut out the sound of the nurse tapping away on his computer and my own heavy breathing. It's steady. Damn it. Not even a week and I end up like this again. I really screwed up this time. Should have known better than to play the half-baked sports star in front of a real one. Why did I try to act brave? Like that heart flutter was no big deal? Even when it was obvious that it was. Not a stream if I'm getting tongue-tied. It was just a reflex, to push it away, to keep it inside. I didn't want it to happen. I didn't want Emmy to see it. Stupid, stupid, stupid! I have to be more careful, or I'll end up in the hospital again. Or worse. That's my final thought before I give in to the tiredness. So good job, Asao. Are you really trying to kill yourself? I fell asleep. For how long? What time is it? I'm feeling a little lightheaded, and I keep blinking compulsively. Pushing the curtain aside, I squint my eyes against the unfiltered light pouring in from the window. The texture of the canvas feels nothing like the wind did before. The nurse looks up from his work, sitting exactly where he was before. How are you feeling? I can't really tell, so I don't answer anything. I'm feeling kind of groggy from falling asleep at such a weird time. Hopefully I don't look too weird. What time is it? Me croaking the question to gain some orientation. The nurse looking at his wristwatch before answering. Things seem to happen in slow motion. 10:15. Try to think for a moment what that means, but I'm not really sure. You didn't answer my question, Hisao. Oh. Fine. Climb down from that bed then, and let's see how you're doing. Don't try to do exactly that, only to sway dizzily when I move too fast. The nurse moves to support me by an arm and sighs. Stand up too quickly is what I was going to say. Just sit there. I'll check your pressure to make sure. My good intentions sure lasted for a long time. I shut up, embarrassed with myself, while the nurse gets busy with an old-fashioned contraption and my arm. After a couple of minutes, he puts it away, looking neither pleased nor unhappy. You're alright. Head stop spinning? Yeah. Good. And how are the contents doing? You didn't show very good judgment out there, Hisao. I swallowed the retort I was going to make. It's what I was thinking myself, but hearing it stated by somebody else makes me want to protest. What he's saying is not pleasant to hear. Doesn't make him any less right. No, sir. He nods, still looking as neutral as he was before. It would be easy to be angry with him if he said, "Told you so," or something, but he doesn't. I can try and help you to keep your health, but ultimately the last call lies with you. Hopefully this little episode will be something to remind you of that. Here, I know for your teacher. To avoid an interrogation. I take the slip of paper he's offering and then make my leave, as I can't think of anything else to say, nor even really want to. Stay out of trouble, you hear me? I don't think it was anything but a scare, but next time could be different. I hear you. There's some way to get to the school building straight from the auxiliary building, but I'm not too keen to find out and possibly get lost, so I go out the exit that I know works. I stop at the stairs of the auxiliary building, deliberating for a moment between going to the dorms to get my books and stuff and going straight away to class. The sun stings my eyes, so I head toward the dorms. The halls are quiet as the courtyard was. Naturally so, since everyone is in class. I knock lightly at the door of 3-3 and push open the door when Muto calls from the other side. Sorry I'm late. One moment. I'll get there. "15 pairs of eyes turn to me. Good morning, Nakai. Muto seems to be somewhat confounded by my coming in late, as if I interrupted his flow or something. Judging from the rambling lectures his classes tend to be, that might be the case. I pass him the note the nurse gave me. Muto takes it with a nod and reads it quickly. He lifts his eyebrows and gives me a kind of stern look, but doesn't say anything. Just nods solemnly again. I shrug, and he gestures at me to run along, so I naturally do. Class goes on lazily. I think I'm starting to get into the rhythm of the school. I've even stopped worrying about taking notes and being overly attentive. First days, I was pretty high-strung in class. Muto finishes his lecture about electricity early, but continues without a pause about the festival. So, as you know, the festival's on the day after tomorrow. I hope everyone's projects are going to be successful this year. Have a good time, but also come Sunday, please keep the meaning of this festival in your minds. God damn it. Yeah, so we'll get a few scenes we've already seen before, just because there's a tiny bit of overlap.
Games and fried food!
Everyone bursts out in laughter, and so do I. Yes, thank you, Mikado. But what I meant is that the remainder of his sentence is buried beneath the ring of the lunch bells, and everyone starts packing their things. Muto deliberates for a moment, but since almost nobody seems to pay attention anymore, he gives up and sits down. It's crowded in the hallway, or as crowded as hallways in this school probably get. Most of the students seem to be heading down to the cafeteria. Normally, I'd join the flow and grab a lunch myself, but today's different. Today, I've been invited to lunch on the roof. An odd location, but that's where I was told to go. Fortunately, I managed to find shelter from the storm in the lee of the classroom door. Eventually, the torrent subsides, and I step tentatively out into the hallway. Only to be met by Emmy, who comes flouncing down the hallway like a cannonball.
Hey! Hi, Hisao! Great timing! I have super extra lunch today, as promised. Let's go upstairs.
Stairway to the roof is a little dilapidated, but it's clearly been used recently. At the top of the stairs is a door, complete with missing padlock. I wonder who the intrepid individual was that removed the lock. Emmy shoves the door and steps beaming into the sunlight. Suddenly, a tall, dark stranger appears out of nowhere, standing imposingly in front of us. Emmy flinches back, almost falling back down the stairs.
Eek!
Hello.
Yipes! You scared me, Rin.
Wait, isn't she... Hello. Noticing that Rin is speaking to me, Emmy looks curiously at me.
You two know each other?
I look confusedly at Emmy. She's that friend of yours? Rin has turned her gaze towards the clouds drifting above the school. I didn't know you knew this person, Emmy. The awkward silence lasts only for a few seconds, until Emmy lets out a tiny giggle, shrugging the coincidence off.
I invited Hisao for lunch. If you know him, that's just better.
Oh. Does that mean I don't get food? Or did you invite him for lunch without the lunch?
Neither. I have food for 3.
Nice thinking. They walk to the other end of the roof while I stay at the clock tower for a while, taking in the atmosphere. There's nobody else but us here. I guess the roof is not as popular as it is in other schools. A few rundown benches and tables are scattered around the edges, perhaps in an attempt to make the rooftop look less desolate. Small pebbles covering the roof rattle beneath our feet. I peek through the chain-link fence and take a look at the school grounds and beyond. Students are strolling in pairs and groups around the quadrangle and at the cafeteria. few delivery trucks are driving past the school toward the convenience store nearby. Somewhere, a watchdog barks at a passerby. Somehow, when I look toward the town center, the small town feel strikes me very strongly, almost palpably. The hectic lifestyle of big metropolises seems so far away and foreign here. Nobody has to run to catch a bus like their life depended on it, or get their senses overloaded by the neon lights and traffic jams. Too bad we won't get to the shed scene today. Hi, Jen. How's it going? Yeah, no, Gloves in the Shed is not for a while. We're still technically in Act 1. I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm doing really good right now. I'm happy to get back into Katawa Shoujo. How's the lag, by the way? Is it, any better, worse than yesterday? You're glad I look forward to the VN streams. They can be hard. No, I mean, I love this game, honestly. I love this game so much. And I'm also just getting, you know, a lot more comfortable, you know, attempting to voice act it. 400 million voices later, most of them probably sound the exact same. But, I'm getting comfortable with it. It froze for you as I asked, so it'll take a bit, but it seems better going by audio only. Okay. Testing, testing, boop, boop. Again, I'm reading these as soon as I see them on my screen, so... Deaf faster? Okay, perfect! Perfect, perfect, perfect. Good. Good, 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 good. I am glad to hear that. You still on mobile, or are you at your actual PC today? Can you see a mug? I saw a rainbow on mobile again. My father-in-law is visiting, so I'm cleaning today. Ah, okay. It's one D brought back, the You Better Believes It mug. I love it. I love how it's a stupid pun. You better believes it. It's my second go-to mug when my other one's washed. Didn't ask yesterday how was Friday. Friday went really well. At least I think it went well. It was relaxing. I had a shorter stream that day just because I wanted to finish that thing off because I wanted to do other stuff. Got gifts from the fam, a lot of well wishes, calls from my grandmother. Then after I left your stream, went to hang out with the guys, and we watched Monster Hunter. Haven't seen the boys since it'd been so long. Oh yeah, we got a good time. It was like nothing really had changed. Other than Drew having a much, much bigger beard now. Like, it almost looks like it's got an extra layer onto it. It's getting like the good old Grizzly Adams going on. I feel surprisingly optimistic about this new life of mine. Looking at my new hometown, even if it's going to be mine for only one short year. Finding out about my illness and having to move away from home all came so suddenly, I haven't had time to think how I feel about it. When I step out of the shadow of the clock tower to the open, I feel warmth touching my back. The sun shines from a perfectly clear cerulean sky. A cool breeze sweeping over the rooftop makes me shiver, but only briefly. The wind carries the scent of trees and flowers, not smog and car exhaust like it used to just a few weeks ago. Emmy settles on a bench with Rin in tow and produces one big and two small lunchboxes from her bag.
Come on, Hisao. What are you waiting for?
She's beckoning me to join them, making room on the already small bench. I seat myself on the corner of the bench to take up as little space as possible. It's pretty cramped, but somehow all three of us fit on it. Impressive view. Emmy suppresses a giggle and places a lunchbox in front of Rin, and hands another lunchbox to me.
Here you go. Lunch as promised.
Homemade, no less. I'm impressed. Wow, this looks really good.
Thanks. I make it myself when I can.
Conversation dies off as I set about the business of feeding myself. Taking a few bites, I glance up and notice Rin deftly opening the lunchbox and popping a forkful of food into her mouth, using only her feet. Even though I've seen it before, I can't help but be impressed at her dexterity. It's also a reminder of the sort of place I'm in right now. Will I ever get used to sights such as this? I can't decide if getting used to such a thing would be a good thing or a bad thing either. Does getting used to this place mean I'm giving up on being a normal person? Or does it just mean I'm becoming more understanding about those around me? I'm distracted from my thoughts by the sight of Emmy tearing into her lunch as if it had insulted her ancestors. You seem pretty hungry. Emmy looks up, mouth half full, and swallows before nodding.
My morning run always works up an appetite. Which is great, because then I burn through lunch pretty quickly. Helps me keep my girlish figure.
What would happen if you lose it? Would you become a man? Very nearly choke on my lunch, trying not to laugh.
It's a figure of speech.
Does your figure have to run in the mornings too? Do you always talk like this?
Talk like what?
Like what? I think that answers my question. Never mind. So, I struggle to think of small talk and settle on the obvious question. How'd you two meet? Rin seems content to let Emmy answer this question.
Someone in housing department thought we'd complement each other well, so we were assigned rooms next to one another.
Compliment each other? Like shoes in a suit. Huh? Emmy giggles at my confusion.
Put us together and we got all our limbs. Get it?
Ah. So, you were so goddamn dense. Figure it out, man. Girl with no legs, girl with no arms, put it together, you got a pair of each between the two of them.
So I started helping Rin get ready in the mornings, and that was that. I mean, you can't help someone get dressed every morning and not get along.
I see. Rin chooses this moment to interject. I have trouble with shirts. Right, that seems fairly obvious. Really? Kind of? This isn't helping, but at least Emmy seems to find the whole thing funny. That, combined with the fact that Rin is genuinely curious, makes me feel slightly better and yet confused. I mean, you've got no arms. So, putting on a shirt seems like one of those things that would be difficult. You know what? I'm just gonna stop talking now. It'll save me a lot of trouble in the long run. Ren nods in what I suspect is meant to be a sage manner. I see. The conversation dies as I turn my attention back to my lunch. It's really quite good. Emmy finishes her lunch first and makes a contented noise.
Ah, that was good.
As she busies herself with cleaning up her lunch, Rin speaks up. I'm thirsty.
Oh, I almost forgot about that. Sorry.
With a flourish, she reaches into her bag and removes a trio of juice boxes. She tosses one to me that appears to be cranberry juice, one to Rin that appears to be some kind of strawberry milk, complete with pink color scheme, and keeps an equally pink box of some kind of fruit punch for herself. Yeah, again, I get shafted with cranberry juice. Great. Could it have made it apple or grape? No, you give me cranberry. Rin dexterously stabs her straw through the top of the box and begins to drink. I'm once again impressed by how flexible she is, but this time I keep my comment to myself. Good, Hisao. Just shut your mouth. Don't say what's on your mind all the time. Somehow, I don't think either Emmy or Rin are the sorts of people to think twice about the way they work around their particular disabilities. Rin especially so. Indeed, she gives off the impression of being entirely unaware that she's missing any limbs at all. Whether or not that's a conscious decision is another matter. I'm honestly not sure.
So, Hisao, how do you like it up here?
It's quite nice, actually. I like high places. For the view. Thanks for inviting me up here. And for the lunch, too. Emmy grins a 1,000-watt grin, pleased by my response, I suppose.
No problem. Feel free to eat with us next time too, okay? I won't make you a lunch, but you can bring your own up here.
No lunch service? I don't know. Emmy looks mock offended.
Trying to take advantage of my good nature? The nerve!
She giggles.
Well, if that's your answer, I guess Rin and I will just keep eating lunch all alone.
I am suddenly assaulted by the most heart-rending puppy dog eyes I've ever Scene as Emmy pouts. Kidding! I was kidding! I'd love to eat lunch up here again. Good location, and the company's okay too. Emmy frowns a bit at my declaration of okay, but she seems happy enough that I've accepted her invitation. I guess this makes us friends now. Or at least acquaintances. The lunch bell rings, signaling a return downstairs.
Rin, you didn't finish your lunch again!
I wasn't that hungry.
If you don't eat more, you're gonna fade away!
Rin shrugs, as if this is an acceptable risk. Come on, we'd better get going. Three of us head down the stairs together. Afternoon class passes. Once again, I find myself without a plan for something to do after school, so I head to the library to return a couple of books I finished reading. Walking inside, I see that there is about as many students here as there were on Tuesday, all the more evident from the almost total silence enveloping the room. As I drop the books I borrowed into the return slot in the counter, Yuko suddenly pops up from behind it, quite startled from the banging they make as they hit the trolley next to her. Sorry, Yuko. Didn't mean to startle you.
No, that's fine. It happens a lot. I'm used to it by now. Can I help you?
It's okay. I think I know where everything is. Thanks anyway. I suppose I'll grab another book or two while I'm here. There's not much else to do, and after reading so much during my stay in the hospital, it's become a hard habit to break. I wander down the fiction section toward the back of the library, scanning the bookshelves for anything that catches my eye. As I do, I look over to the corner where Hanako had been last time I was here, not really expecting anything to come of it. Surprisingly, though, she's there, absorbed completely in a fairly thick book. I decide against intruding on her like last time and get back to finding reading material. After an indiscernible amount of time spent perusing the aisles, I finally decide on a couple of books to get and slide them off the shelf. With a minimum of fuss, I quickly walk over to the counter, check out my books, and pop them into my bag as I walk out. By the time I leave the main building, sunset isn't too far away. A trickle of students remain, but the majority have left, presumably to their homes and dorms. Feeling utterly drained, I head to my room to read the books I borrowed. There's been enough action and excitement for one day already. The first is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I know the story, of course, but I've never actually read the original book. It's just as trippy as I remember the story to be, with wacky characters and nonsense plot. I start thinking of myself as some kind of an Alice too, haplessly tumbling down the rabbit hole into this cripple wonderland. Jesus, man! Okay, that's a rather strong expression. Still, the isolated location and the overt way the school accommodates to absolutely everything is unsettling. It is like another world. I wonder why I can't shake the feeling of being an outsider like Alice, despite most everyone being so hospitable and friendly with me. Turning another page, my mind starts to drift further away from the book. It's quiet. No, it's quiet. I can hear my heartbeat thumping against the fabric of my shirt. For some reason, it makes me feel really bad, like it has since that time in the forest with Iwanako. Like I was locked in a cage with something nasty and scary. I put the book down for a while and stare at the ceiling, taking my time to shake off the feeling. 200 pages later, I fall asleep. Falling asleep while reading. I've done that. Students roll into class for Saturday morning session, each and every one of them sporting the tired eyes of people who have worked through the night. With only a day left to prepare, I suppose it's not surprising. Thankfully, we only have to suffer through classes until the lunch break, and then our time is our own. Muto lurches into class in a tired stagger. I suppose students aren't the only people here that enjoy their late Friday nights. Without saying a word, he scrawls some page and question numbers on the board and slumps down at his desk. It's completely atypical behavior for him, but it appears that no one in the class is going to call him out on it. Yes, because please, go ahead, call out your teacher for acting weird. That'll totally go well. Wordlessly, the students shuffle their textbooks into position and get to work. Not wanting to break the trend, I do the same. Fatigue has made the class antisocial. Not a peep is heard among the ruffling papers. That can be partly attributed to the 2 empty seats beside me. For some reason, Misha and Shizune aren't present. Probably doing council work for the festival. It's very quiet without Misha present. I wonder if she was born as rowdy as she is, or if she's making up for Shizune's lack of voice. Nakai, can I speak to you for a moment? So engrossed in thinking about Misha that I don't even notice Muto approaching my desk. Sure. What's this about? It's probably better if we speak outside the classroom. Something about this doesn't sound too good, but I stand up and follow him out into the hallway. Muto stands in the hallway, scratching his head as he works out what he's trying to say. Not knowing what's going on, I wait silently. I heard from the school's head nurse that you had an incident the other day. Ah, so it's about that. Well, kind of, but it's not anything to be worried about. Yes it is. Anything that can endanger your health is something to be worried about. We try our best here to prepare you for life here. Part of that involves knowing your limits and how to work around them. It would be remiss of me if I didn't speak up about this. Alright, I get it. I'm sorry. Muto closes his eyes in frustration, and I realize that this probably wasn't the best thing to say. Something tells me that you're not sorry. Pretend as much as you want, but this isn't a normal school. A lot of people have put a lot of time, effort, and money to make sure that you and every other student here can have the same level of education as your peers. For you to abuse that by throwing out advice, especially medical advice, is plain selfish. I'm not quite sure if this is actually how he feels, or if it's some act that he's practiced many times to guilt trip students into doing the right thing. Either way, it's working. I understand. This is all new to me, and I apologize. I know my limits now, and I'll be sticking to them. Muto appears to lighten up a little, satisfied that his message has been received. So then, on to my next question. How are you finding your studies? I understand you were laid up for a while? We're not too far ahead, are we? I don't think so. I tried to keep up when I was in the hospital, so it hasn't been too hard. Muto taps his chin and raises an eyebrow as he absorbs this information.
Is that so? I suppose there are still students out there who realize the importance of learning.
I wouldn't go that far. I was only trying to keep myself occupied in my little life support prison. Well, yeah. You gotta keep up with these things, right?
That's exactly it. One wrong move in this world and you're left behind, right?
Right. Wouldn't want that to happen.
No, you wouldn't. Every week there's a new scientific discovery. Most of them mean nothing to the layperson, but any one of them could be the key to the next big thing.
I'll keep that in mind. It's obvious that Muto's serious talk is over, and he's gone back to his standard, slightly scatterbrained approach to life. I think, in hindsight, I prefer him this way. He's slightly more predictable in his unpredictability. Yeah, I think I even made this joke the first time we saw this scene, but I'll just make it again. Quote good old Jack Sparrow. You can always trust an untrustworthy person to be untrustworthy. It's the trustworthy ones you have to look out for, 'cause you never know when they're gonna do something incredibly stupid. Savvy?
Well then, I think that's all I really had to say. Let's get back inside, shall we?
My relief at that suggestion is insurmountable. Sure. You're the boss, right? Muto pauses for a moment.
I don't think any of my students has ever said that to me before.
For an instant, I consider replying to this, but something deep within me tells me to shut my mouth and get back into the classroom. A few of the students jump at the sound of the door, rapidly trying to pretend that they are working on questions on the board. Some don't even bother, their heads slumped on the desk as they nap. Thankfully, it would appear that Muto doesn't even notice them. He returns to his desk and retrieves a scientific journal from one of the drawers. I guess I got him there. The class returns to near silence that Muto and I left it in before our chat. Mixed feelings of tiredness and anticipation buzz around the room. Everyone here is either waiting for a chance to rest or the chance to get their last-minute preparations underway. The clock on the wall slowly ticks the remaining class time away until finally the bells cry out, ending the torment.
Before you all leave, I expect the answers for those problems by Monday.
The class sighs as one, instantly regretting slacking off, but still acutely aware of the more pressing issues at hand. The classroom empties in a blink as everyone rushes to their last-minute festival preparations. I stay behind and try to quickly finish the questions so I don't have to bother with it over the rest of the weekend, with the festival and all tomorrow. Apart from me, Hanako's the only one left, obviously waiting for Lily. It's weird that Lily comes all the way to our classroom to pick her up. I expect that moving around is at least nominally harder for her than it is for Hanako. But it's none of my business. And I naturally don't ask about it from Hanako. Despite the relative proximity of our seats, neither tries to strike up a conversation about that or anything else either, so an oppressive silence falls upon the classroom. Time passes in silence. It's probably just 15 minutes or so, but it feels longer. I turn pages of my notebook. Hanako turns pages of the novel she's reading. My pencil lead splinters against the paper just when I was about to finish a paragraph. The sounds of my irritated sigh and subsequent fumbling around for a sharpener feel like they're breaking the mood in the classroom. Hanako keeps her eyes firmly away from my direction. Before long, Lily's tall figure appears in the doorway. Hanako? Her name is all it takes to make Hanako jump up from her desk and run to Lily. They talk quietly for a moment, But it isn't long before Lily leaves down the hall and Hanako idles back into the classroom, taking her seat once again. I watch Hanako out of the corner of my eye out of sheer curiosity at the idea that the two would be separated. For a couple of minutes, she does nothing but sit with her chin in her hand, staring at the desk dejectedly. The boredom evidently becomes too much for her, though, her slender frame reaching into her bag and pulling out a small book. Come to think of it, that isn't the one I saw her reading at the library. She must be quite a fast reader to get through them at this rate. After about 10 minutes of restlessly shuffling in her seat and trying to read, Hanako closes her book and leaves too. As should I, since the assignment is all but finished and there's nothing else to do in the classroom. Not that I have anything to do anywhere else either. Alright, so, back when we were going through mostly Lily's route, right there we were given a choice of go to our dorm, go to, into town, or go to the library. Because we decided to go for it and race Emmy, we don't get that choice. So we're pretty much right on her path. But wow, just, nice, I totally skipped a line. School is a beehive of activity, but no one pays me any heed. I saunter past classrooms filled with students frantically doing this and that, buzzing around like little worker bees. You wouldn't guess the school day is over. It's a bit quieter outside, but not by much. People zip by left and right, hurrying as quickly as they can, busy and energetic. I feel the opposite. The midday sun seems to be draining all the spirit out of my body, making it feel limp all over. Warm, soft air flows inside my shirt, feeling like a cushion. I yawn lazily, thinking about what I'd do. I'll drop my books off at the dorms first, and then something I haven't decided yet. Maybe Kenji's in his room. Please, no Kenji. On the way to the dorms, I spot Emmy coming my way, running despite not having those weird running prosthetics on. I wave at her and she skids to a stop.
Yo, Hisao!
Splatters of white and green paint adorn her nose and chin respectively, but her smile is wide as it seems it always is. She leans closer to me, amplifying the feeling she's examining me.
What you doing?
Nothing really. I don't have anything to do for the festival, and everyone else seems to be doing something important.
That's perfect! Then you can help me and Rin.
With the festival preparations?
I'm not sure if I'd be much help. That's fine. I'm not much help either.
Emmy grabs my wrist and starts dragging me back inside the school quite forcefully. Even her walking speed is more like jogging, making me stumble over myself simply trying to keep up. The stairs slow Emmy down a little bit. Maybe it's hard to climb with her legs, or maybe she's finally run out of breath. We go all the way back to the third floor and to the seniors' hallway, ending up where I left 5 minutes ago. I could just as well stayed here waiting for Emmy had I known. So are you... Is Rin working on that mural still?
That's right. She needs all kind of paints and brushes and stuff, so I went to get them from the art classroom.
And you need me to help with that?
Well, Rin told me you'd already helped her, so I thought you wouldn't mind.
I see. So thanks to Emmy's flaky logic, here I am again, collecting stuff from the art classroom for other people. The room is empty apart from ourselves and the lonely specks of dust floating in the air. Emmy skips straight away to the back wall, digging out a tiny crumpled piece of paper from her pocket. Alright, confirmed. All the skirts at Yamaku have pockets. I think that's the second time that's been brought up that they're reaching into their pocket despite clearly wearing a skirt, so cool. Skirts with pockets. Incredibly useful. While she tries to make sense of the scrawled handwriting, I take a closer look at the materials lying around here. Dozens of paint cans and bottles arranged on the shelves in a most unorganized fashion. Some look like they've been left here for several decades. Relics of previous art club generations. Next to the heavy stacks of neatly piled drawing paper are boxes full of different sized brushes and unsorted crayons. The smells of paint, turpentine, and fresh paper float in the stale air, mixing in my nostrils to form that unmistakable scent of art. It's called a contact high, bruh. The fumes are getting to you. That's what art is. Emmy studies her notes, comparing them to markings on the various paint cans, and passes them to me as she finds the correct matches. She stretches her neck to look on the topmost shelf, but it's not quite enough. Her eye level stays below the shelf no matter what she does. Emmy gives up and just looks up to the shelf longingly, like a child at a toy store huffing in annoyance. After a moment of building anger, she starts jumping up and down, apparently trying to speed read the labels during the fraction of a second she can see them and catch what she can.
One second, folks. Gotta take care of something real quick.
Sorry about that. Just had to answer something. I got lunch sitting next to me, which is actually kind of good timing. Sub will stay as it is, and I'll be able to finish this up in time. Hopefully I can at least get us on to Act 2. We're pretty close, so I think we can do it. Oh, something went. Ugh. Choking on my own spit there for a second. It's no surprise that she fails miserably and almost manages to bring an entire shelf crashing down. Now I see why me lending a hand here would be useful. Come on, let me do that. You can't jump high enough, and I don't want you to hurt yourself trying. Also, I'm like twice your height.
You are not!
She turns around, flaring scorn, flushed cheeks and all. Just kidding, just kidding. Anyway, I'll look up there, okay? She glares at me one more time, but can't come up with a retort. With a grudging, turns her back to me. So I begin scrounging around the top shelf for paint, while below, Emmy crouches to scavenge what she can from the cupboards. I shake my head a little after double-checking to ensure she can't see me do so. Emmy having a complex about her height is a surprise. I wouldn't have joked about it otherwise. I feel ya, Emmy. I feel ya. She seems easygoing, but I guess everyone has their weak spots. Only after we have almost all the items collected and spread out on the desk like a treasure hunter's spoils, do I realize that it wasn't necessarily the height jab that got her riled up. She might not like to be told she can't do something, like jump. But Emmy herself seems to have forgotten all about it already. Quick to anger, quick to forgive. Is that type of person? At least she doesn't seem to have taken anything to heart, as she chatters away happily while we pick up the rest of the items and make our way back to Rin. I chivalrously carry the bulk of the materials as we make our way toward the dormitories.
Rin is really stressed about getting her painting done. It's her own fault, though. She should have started earlier.
Is she gonna make it?
No idea. It looks good to me, but with Rin, you never know what's going on. I found her this morning lying in front of the dorm in fetal position. She hadn't slept all night. I can't believe that the night nurses hadn't found her. And now she's painting again like crazy.
Yeah, I've noticed that she comes off kinda unhinged, so to speak. Emmy giggles at that, and as well as that, my likely too obvious awkwardness.
I don't mind it. She's just a little weird sometimes.
On that, I can agree with her. Unlike me, Emmy seems to be cool with Rin's whatever it is that feels so off about her. Still, they don't feel close like Misha and Shizune do. Them working as a single entity sometimes, it's hard to say where one ends and the other begins. Even though they're so different, just like Emmy and Rin are. And Rin is the most different of them all. Different from anyone else I've met. Yeah, I guess she's a very unique person. I return to that word again, as if it encompasses Rin's personality by itself, but really it's just a substitute for a lengthy description of her oddities. Emmy giggles as I grasp about for a properly descriptive word.
She's just weird. You know, earlier, she just spent half an hour sitting on her box and stared at her toes.
She giggles again in a way that makes me think she doesn't know what's funny about it. It just is.
All that time.
The working area is a mess. The mural itself has taken over even more of the wall since I last saw it. The disfigured human figures have been mostly colored in tones of red, pink, and orange. Weird, imaginary things populating the spaces between. It looks nice. I can't think of any word that would describe the work concisely and comprehensively, so I settle on a nondescript nice. But honestly, it seems that the area around the wall becomes untidier at the same rate as the mural progresses. The ground is littered with dozens of paint cans, various art supplies, and empty soda bottles. Ren herself is in the center of this chaos, standing there looking very cozy as if she was a natural part of the scene. Her pant legs have been rolled up to her knees, exposing her thin legs, which sport a drying spectrum of war paintings, similar to those on Emmy's face. Emmy sprints to Rin ahead of me and gleefully jumps in front of her.
I'm back!
That was fast. Did you run in the corridors again?
Hisao helped me.
Emmy points victoriously at me. Rin turns around, following Emmy's finger with her eyes, looking at my general direction. She nods absent-mindedly at me. She looks like she hasn't slept since last night. A vacant, glazed stare that's focused slightly off me, and movements like in a slow-motion movie. Hello, Hisao. Thank you for the help. Don't mention it. I just did. Never mind. Looks like you've made progress. Looking good as far as I can tell. But now you get more bad luck. I know, but I'm willing to take the risk. That's a very nice thing to say. For me, of course. Not for you. This is why artists are always unlucky. They have to constantly look at their unfinished paintings. So artists can't find romance, their favorite TV shows are cancelled, or they die young because of an unspecified disease. It's a deep and mysterious law of the universe. Unless they're blind. She considers this for a while, looking like she's gonna fall asleep. There's a boy. At the art club, you see. Blind boy. So he doesn't see. He should become an artist. No bad luck guaranteed. Don't you think that'd be a good idea? That only blind people should become artists? No, not as such. You might have a point. Abandoning this train of thought, she turns again to consider her work and starts humming a tune that I think I recognize, but can't remember the name of. Emmy arranges the supplies we brought and moves a few paint cans around, trying to bring some organization to the scene. Emmy, I need the Prussian blue paint.
Which one's Prussian blue?
She's staring helplessly at 7 or 8 cans, each with a different tone of blue. It's the one with the Prussian blue paint in it.
Jeez, Rin! Not helping at all.
I look around as well, even though I don't know what Prussian blue looks like either. I wonder what blue has to do with Prussia. Or what Prussia even is. The name sounds vaguely familiar, but I can't place it. While none of the blues look more Prussian than the others, the small print on the labels is legible enough to determine that none say anything about the contents being Prussian. There's no Prussian blue here.
We need to go get more then.
I open my mouth to say that actually we're not both needed for such a simple task like finding another pot of Prussian blue, but Emmy's already grabbed my arm and starts dragging me off. I wave to Rin, who doesn't seem to have noticed that the two of us are even leaving. Well, she'll notice when she goes for her Prussian blue and finds out it's still not there. Maybe. Probably not, actually. While I'm busy thinking of how weird Rin is, Emmy's been dragging me back to the art classroom. I feel myself starting to run out of breath. What's the rush?
Huh?
Emmy's giving me an appraising look, as if she's trying to figure something out. It's just that you seem to be in a hurry. I'm not sure I can keep up. Comprehension dawns on her face.
You're not out of breath, are you?
There's almost an accusing playfulness to her tone. I'm tempted to deny it, but then I realize that I've been breathing heavy since we stopped. Guess it's kind of obvious. A little. Not everyone can be in shape, you know. Takes all kinds, right? Emmy frowns. It's not a particularly good frown. That is... I should... get in shape? Not that I hadn't already decided to try for that. After that flutter on the track, I figured there's a real need to get in some sort of running habit. I was, after all, feeling pretty good until I had my false alarm. Well, actually I wasn't. But it was... fun? Meanwhile, my comment seems to have helped Emmy come to some sort of a decision.
Well, that's it then.
She gives me a serious look.
You're joining me.
I beg your pardon?
In the mornings. You and I are running partners now. Or you and I are now running partners. I mean, what I said is the exact same thing. Whatever. Deal with it. I've got a routine all planned out. In fact...
She produces a crumpled sheet of paper.
I got it right here with me.
I take the sheet of paper and give it a once-over. Times, dates, and laps, all laid out. A slow increase from just a few laps a day to... My God, does she expect me to be running marathons? And where does she find time to get this all together? And how long has she been planning this anyway? You've been planning this?
A little. But it's really the nurse's idea. He told me to keep an eye on you to make sure you exercise like he told you to.
A vast conspiracy? Maybe Kenji's onto something here. No, Kenji is not onto something. Abort Hisao. Abort that thought now. Let it leave your mind. Kenji is never onto something. He's probably on something, but he's not onto something. This seems a bit much for just keeping an eye on me.
Well, to be honest, I've been trying to find a running partner in the mornings for a while now.
My God, Kenji!
If only you could see the scheme unfolding! Abort, Hasao, damn it! What do you need a partner for anyway? It's easier to keep up a workout if you're not the only one doing it. Isn't that obvious? You're less likely to quit if someone else is counting on you to be there, right? I see. And this won't only keep you running, but it'll make sure I keep running as well. Meaning that I'll be obeying the nurse. And I'll be keeping an eye on you like he asked. You caught on quick, Asao. And if I refuse? I have no intention of refusing, of course. But I've got to at least put up a token resistance to such a masterfully executed plan. Well, if you refused, I'd have to pout. And you'd have to live with being the guy who made Emi Ibarazaki pout. You don't want that on your conscience, do you? As if to demonstrate, Emi begins pouting. It is the most adorable, heart-wrenching thing I've ever seen. Okay, I'll do it. Just don't do that. I feel like I just hit a puppy. So it's settled, right? You're gonna be my running partner? Follow the workout? And the dietary plan? Dietary plan? Yeah, the dietary plan. You gotta eat healthy if you're gonna get in shape, you know. I examined the workout routine closely. I don't see a dietary plan on here. Oh, right! I forgot to give you that. Another crumpled sheet of paper is produced and handed over. It's somewhat less detailed. I had the nurse help me come up with it. The amount of dedication the nurse has to keep me in good health is pretty overwhelming. I don't know how many school nurses who... Okay, I don't know. Sorry. Ah, God. Words. Drink tea, damn it. Oh, good lord. I don't know many school nurses who would get one of their students to spy on me, much less help come up with a dietary plan. Then again, I guess I'm not in a normal school. And maybe that's not such a bad thing. And again, this dietary plan seems to cut out just about everything that'll be offered at the festival tomorrow. So, when does our running start? After the festival. Right after? What if I've had something to eat there? I could get a stomachache, you know. I meant the day after the festival. I knew that. Wasn't there something we're supposed to be doing? Oh, I guess we should get that paint for Rin, huh? Oh no! It slipped my mind. By the time we get the paint and back to the mural, Rin's already wandered off. Oh well. Emily and I both decide to part ways there, leaving the paint on the ground. Rin will find it whenever she comes back anyway. Festival's tomorrow. I'm actually a little excited for it. At the same time, the week's left me feeling pretty tired, so I read a little and then go to bed. The next day, I wake up feeling a little lightheaded. It's almost noon already. Sleeping late is fine, since it's a Sunday and there are no classes. Not just a Sunday, though, but the
festival as well. From my window, I can already see some people at the soba booth slinging noodles onto plates for people with a craving for low-quality food. I throw back a handful of my morning meds and ponder how to spend the day. There'll be a few exams in the coming week, but I don't consider those as ominous as others. So, I'm not as worried about them as I probably should be. With no urgent obligations regarding education, I should be free to spend it. I should be free to spend the day at the festival as I like. Finishing my morning routine, I exit into the hallway, intending to go out and find something to eat. Passing by his door, I decide to see what Kenji's up to today out of impulse. I'm curious if he has any plans, since everyone else is doing something. Then again, I can picture him having built a soundproof shelter in his room. Or possibly something like a fort, complete with a "No Girls Allowed" sign. And with the girls crossed out and "body" crudely scrawled underneath it. Knocking on his door, which is luckily devoid of any kind of sign, I hear again the unsettling clicking of at least 10 locks being pulled back. The door opens up a crack. Who is it? You're supposed to ask that before you open the door. Oh, it's you. Damn, it's early. It's not really that early. What is it, man? Nothing. I was just gonna ask what you're gonna do today. Half the school's out there already. Out where? Why? What? What? Is today special? Why are they there? Who are they? Who are? I can hear them. It's loud. Don't tell me. Has the invasion begun? He suddenly looks more alarmed. What day is it, man? Yeah, I guess you can't see the big wooden booths outside and people selling stuff. What the hell are you talking about? I have my curtain closed at all times to thwart the snipers. It's the festival. You know that, right? Oh shit, that's today? Ah, damn. Ah, damn. Damn it. I can't believe I forgot. I don't have my fort finished yet. This is bad. This is going to be a very bad day. It's good you told me this, man. This is going to be a bad day. Why? Oh man, they're going to be everywhere. The people. Outside my window. Socializing. Kenji rubs his temples nervously, suddenly looking very ill. It's gonna be loud as hell. Damn, I was gonna go out today, but now it's ruined. Everything is ruined. This is awful. This sucks. This sucks! What the hell? This really sucks. I can't go anywhere now. There's nowhere to run. Kenji seems nervous. You could even say he's majorly freaking out. I can't believe this. So that's what today was. Damn, and I couldn't even prepare for it. I couldn't even brace myself. And I was here, and I can't do anything. You should have told me this earlier, dude. I mean, at least I know, but I could have known earlier. Imagine what I could have accomplished. Sorry, I thought you knew. So I guess you're not going to do anything today? The weather's even good. Yesterday was really windy, so I thought today would be cold. It's not though, so there's no reason to just stay inside. Yeah, you should check the festival out. Kenji groans and covers his face with his hands. Ah, no. I can't do that. They'll eat me alive out there. I know it. That has to be a joke. But he said it with such a straight face. Relatively straight. What are you gonna do? We should hang out in here. You can help me build my fort.
It might still make it if we work together. I wonder... I'm kinda hungry, but I made this deal that I try to take better care of myself. Be healthier, you know? To know if I should steer clear of the takoyaki or head straight in. Deal? Sounds ominous. So, what are you getting in return? Nothing, I guess? It's not that kind of deal. You know, Emmy, from our year, we kind of agreed to watch each other's backs and... Oh, good God, he's freaking out, man. He's freaking out. Eh? The shrill scream and the expression of abject terror in Kenji's face chill my blood. It's as if I told a Catholic priest I sold my soul to the devil. Her? You sold your soul to the devil and you didn't get anything in return? What the hell's wrong with you, man? Do you know who you're dealing with? She's a public health danger. Do you know how many people she sends to the hospital monthly with her carefully placed flying tackles? She's one of them. A key player in the vast conspiracy that aims for the complete submission of everything that's manly. I can't believe what I'm hearing. I trusted in your judgment, man. I thought we were brothers. You have to call it off before it's too late. This festival, too. It's just one of their ploys. He fingers his scarf nervously, faster and faster, like he's trying to start a fire. Then slowly begins to calm down once the panic attack finishes running its course. I'm gonna have to find some place to hide in. A safe haven. And then knock the lights out myself so I don't have to experience this horrible day. I have the perfect thing for that. I must prepare now. Don't go to the festival. Okay. Later, dude. I love how manic he is. The door slowly closes with a low creak, and I don't know how to feel about what Kenji just said. It's kind of unsettling, and now I start to feel doubtful myself. Should I bother going? I've got a book I've been meaning to read. Something about an underground postal system that may or may not exist. It's short, too. I could have it finished in a day. But would that be a good way to spend my time? Well, yeah, it definitely would. Would be. But I suppose it would probably be a better idea to head outside. See the festival. Try to integrate with all the other sideshow acts. Jeez, come on, man! Don't pull that shit. Honestly, I should at least make an attempt to keep up the somewhat friendly personality I've had the past week. Maybe get something to eat, my stomach suggests. It's almost lunchtime. I could at least grab something from one of the stalls outside. I'm soon outside, surrounded by various students and people who may or may not be their parents. Every so often, I catch a glimpse of someone who clearly just came up from town for the promise of a festival. They're easy to spot. The ones who can't stop staring, and behind their eyes you can tell they're thinking, now what's wrong with this one? I almost want to yell at them. But at the same time, can I deny that I've been doing the same thing all week? A wave of something like disgust sweeps over me. Guilt for my own narrow-mindedness. I push the thoughts aside, concentrating on the pangs of hunger that burn my guts like a wildfire. The scent of something fried leads me to the promised land, where I can get some lunch. I'm just getting my order when a loud voice interrupts me. Hey, what the hell are you doing?
Having lunch.
Breakfast? You mean you just got up?
Suddenly sleeping all morning feels like a crime. No, I meant lunch. Honest. She's not buying it. Brunch?
That's not a healthy breakfast at all.
She snatches my food out of my hand and glares at me.
What the hell is this girl doing?
Hey, that's my breakfast.
What happened to it being your lunch?
That's my... Whatever, it's my food. Emmy places her hands on her hips and begins lecturing me.
Did you really forget the dietary plan already? You need to be more conscious of your health, Hisao. What about your heart?
My heart's fine the way it is. Mostly. All I get in response is a roll of the eyes.
I doubt that. You would be here if that was the case, would you?
The girl's got a point, of course. But I'm not about to concede it. It's not that bad of a heart. Certainly can handle a little grease now and again. Yeah, sure. And it handled a little running just fine, too. Emmy seems unconvinced. Not surprising, as I haven't even managed to convince myself.
Maybe, but you're not sleeping all the day away all the time.
A devious look suddenly crosses her face. Oh, she got the little cat smile. I love it. I love the cat smile.
Of course, if you'd been following a routine from the beginning, you wouldn't be in this situation.
Hey, I've had a pretty eventful week, you know. For example, I almost died. There was a lot of meeting people, and then I was on the roof for a while.
Which is no excuse for slacking off, you know. A little near-death experience is no excuse for skipping basic exercise. Like running in the mornings.
She nods, as if something important has just been decided.
So it's settled then. You've seen the error of your ways and are willing to adhere to my routine, right? I'll see you bright and early in the morning. We'll be running buddies.
You know, you'd already convinced me yesterday that this was a good idea. You don't need to convince me again. Not that I did a good job of being convinced. She's right about eating healthy, after all. And here I am, ordering up something grossly unhealthy. But delicious. There are more important things than deliciousness, aren't there? Like staying alive. If Emmy weren't browbeating me for my poor decisions, I'd probably... Hey, wait a second. Sudden question springs to mind. Hey, why the hell have you taken such an interest in my well-being? Emmy shrugs and grins at me.
You're the new guy. I figure you don't have any friends yet, right? Besides, I've caused you trouble all week, right? I owe you for not getting angry. And I told the nurse I would anyway.
Huh. Crazy little running girl wants to make me healthy. Well, I suppose there are worse fates. Okay, that sounds fine. Thanks for your concern. Tomorrow morning, then? I figure that ends the conversation, so I turn to leave.
Not so fast.
Feel a hand on my collar, and in a second, I've been yanked backwards.
Hey, no need to be so rough. What do you want now?
Emmy looks almost wounded by my annoyed question.
Thought you could use the company.
Her eyes narrow.
Besides, you're just gonna try sneaking some more of that fried crap, weren't you?
Well, I wasn't going to, but now that she mentions it, that would have been a really good idea.
I was not.
Another glare. Okay, maybe I was gonna get a little... The glare continues. Okay, a lot. Jesus, I'm a danger to myself and others, aren't I? I get done agreeing that I need to be healthier, and then immediately start considering the next unhealthy habit that comes my way.
I knew it. You can't be trusted. Now I definitely have to stick with you.
This whole situation feels silly. I can only imagine what passerby or think of the sight of me being lectured by a tiny girl half my size. Maybe I should just give up for now. Fine, do what you like. I sigh. Might as well make the best of this. What do you want to do? Emmy thinks for a minute.
Well, I promised Rin I'd stop by her mural. So let's do that.
I confess I'm slightly curious as to how her mural turned out myself. So again, I consider there are worse fates. I give a nod of assent and find myself almost dragged bodily through the crowd as Emmy races to our destination. By the time we reach the dorms, I can feel my heart pounding. My heart shouldn't be pounding after just that. I take a few deep breaths, willing myself to calm down. I'm one of the most normal-looking people in the school, but I still have to be here. Sometimes I almost wish I'd lost a hand or something. At least then it'd be obvious that I belong. But instead, I don't even look sick. Even now, trying to catch my breath, I just look out of shape. Emmy looks back and notices my state of distress.
You're not gonna die on me, are you? Please don't. It'll be all my fault, and I don't want to deal with that kind of guilt.
Hey, Aqua. Yeah, last Sunday I finished off Lily's route. I just went for a full 3 hours to get it done. Had to take a break so I wouldn't break down on stream, but I got it done. So right now I went back to a previous save in Act 1 to get us onto Emmy's route. And yes, I did get the good ending. I did get Lily's good ending. Just kind of a fun little fact about that, Lily does not actually have a bad ending. She just has a good and a neutral ending. You, in fact, see the neutral ending if you get the good ending. Because the neutral ending, the game just kind of stops after a certain point. The good ending continues on from there for at least an hour or so longer, with more going on. So while technically not a bad ending, it's kind of a heartbreaking thing. It's one of the scenes that always gets me. So how are you doing today?
Besides, after the last time, I really don't think I need to see that again. Especially because the nurse will totally say it's my fault. Nah, I'm fine.
Guess I need to start running after all. Oh, been supervising tiny people chores, now supervising my own chores. Oh, that must have been loads of fun.
And you wanted to keep eating your greasy whatever it was. See? It's a good thing I found you, right?
Yes, it was. Maybe. Of course, I don't add that I wouldn't be in this state if she hadn't dragged me across the festival grounds. Further conversation is interrupted by the sudden appearance of Rin.
Oh, it's you. Hello, Emmy. Hey, Rin! I brought Hasao along because he was going to give himself a heart attack. I was not!
My objection goes unnoticed.
We stopped by to see how the mural turned out.
Rin nods slowly. Well, it's right there. You can see it pretty clearly. I find myself wondering how long Rin's been standing here in front of the mural. Has anyone even stopped by to look at it? Are we the first ones? Obviously, we're not the first to see it, of course. I mean, it's pretty big. You'd be hard-pressed not to see it. At the same time, I don't think anyone's actually talked to Rin about it. Anyone but us, that is. I feel compelled to say something. It looks pretty good. I'm still not happy with how it turned out. But I guess it'll do. She seems to almost resign. She seems almost resigned to it. I'm not sure what she expected as a result, but I guess she didn't quite get there. You stand in front of the mural, taking it all in. I try my best to concentrate on the composition of the thing. It's actually fairly interesting. The colors swoop and blend together, dragging me along with them. There's a dreamlike quality to the whole thing that makes me feel almost sleepy. I try hunting out some of the colors Emmy and I grabbed for her. Try as I might, I can't see any Prussian blue. Oh well. I'm sure it's in there somewhere. My feet start to hurt, but Rin doesn't seem inclined to move on. Emmy speaks up.
Hey, Rin, have you eaten?
Of course. You can't survive otherwise.
What about in the past 5 hours?
Maybe. But I'm hungry again, so maybe that means I'm wrong. Emmy grins and claps her hands together.
Good! Come get some food with us.
Rin nods in assent. Okay, but we should hurry before they notice I'm gone. Somehow I don't think they'd care. Whoever they are. As we head back to the food stalls, I cast a longing eye over the fried food. No, I'd better not. I'm pretty sure Emmy wouldn't let me anyway. We find a nice spot on the grass and sit down to eat our purchases. Well, my purchases anyway. Somehow I've wound up paying for all the food. Surprisingly, my unfried food is pretty good. Silence falls as Emmy and I eat, and Rin stares at something or other, occasionally eating a bite or two of her food. I finish my meal and lay back on the grass. Emmy glances up from her food.
Tired, Hisao?
A little, I guess.
Well, don't oversleep or anything tomorrow morning. We start our morning runs, remember?
Actually, they'd slipped my mind. I was actually just enjoying myself. Wandering around the festival with these two has actually been fun. Yeah, I'll set an alarm.
You'd better be there. I'll get angry if you aren't.
God forbid. I don't think God comes into it. Unless there's some kind of freak accident and your alarm clock shorts out. That might be a random act of God.
Well, don't cause any random acts of God then.
A plan forms itself in my mind. It's a plan that makes me feel kind of guilty, but I throw it into execution anyway. Damn it, I've earned a little fried food. And anyway, I'm gonna start running tomorrow, right? So the actual routine all starts then, not now. Ergo, the dietary portion starts tomorrow too. Ergo, I can have something unhealthy today. A sort of final farewell to all the stuff I used to eat with wild abandon before the hospital. Actually, I suppose I should head back to my room. I had some homework to do, and if I'm gonna run in the morning, I should make it an early night. Those narrowed eyes again.
You sure you're not just gonna sneak off and buy some of that fried stuff over there?
Nah, I'm too full to bother now. I pat my stomach for emphasis. Besides, you two have cleaned me out anyway. Emmy giggles. It's a surprisingly pleasant sound. Another pang of guilt. She's got to know I'm lying to her, doesn't she? Or is she just that trusting? I feel kind of like a monster.
All part of my master plan, Hisao. Well, I guess I'll see you tomorrow morning then. Thanks for the food, and for keeping us company.
And here I thought she was doing me a favor. Red nods in agreement.
I won't say see you tomorrow, because that would be like predicting the future, and I'm pretty sure I can't do that.
Okay. Bye, you two. I feel oddly glad that I decided to leave my room today. Not a bad way to start my second week here, I suppose. Once I'm sure I'm out of Emmy's line of sight, I make a beeline for the food stands and buy some cake. At least it's not fried, right? That's slightly better than what I was planning to do. I still feel a little bad about lying to Emmy, though. She really does seem concerned about my health. Yeah, I can't fault that logic. Oh, my initial plan was to get fried food, but now I'm just gonna get some cake instead. Less grease, more sugar. I guess sugar is the lesser of two evils? I don't know. Probably not, though. I could go for some cake now, too. Damn it. I want cake and I have none. I'll make it up to her somehow. Better head back to my room. Hey, I do have work to do. My book waits for me, and I flop onto my bed and read through the fireworks display. Sugar is the most popular addiction globally. Yeah, I can see that. Eventually, all the walking around, or more accurately, running around, catches up with me. I really am out of shape. Emmy dragging me out in the morning to run might just be a good thing after all. It's something to look forward to. Act 2. Form. Yeah, at the start of, once you get onto an actual girl's route, there is a shortcut scene. We, we already had seen Lily's, and that was Emmy's. Just a nice little short animation. Sometimes they kind of give you an idea of what to expect in the route. Other times they're very just kind of out there. Like, I mean, looking after playing through Lily's and looking back at her animation, it foreshadows a bit. Where's my mouse turned off? So we are going to save right there and return to our main menu. And as you can see now, the little cut-in picture for Emmy's Act 2 is now down here. So we're getting there. So let's see our library. We're 31% complete the game. We still have a whole bunch of scenes from Act 1 to look through. And Emmy's has just started. Yeah, there's the opening, just kind of the opening of the game. Emmy's opening cinematic and Lily's opening cinematic. So we have 3 more of those to see for obviously the other 3 girls. Alright, so there we go. We are officially on Act 2 of Emmy's route. So Saturday, we will continue on with that, as per our usual. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock, I decided to pick the game myself for the Viewer's Choice Mondays. So that will be Telltale's Jurassic Park The Game. So if you want to see some kind of point-and-click action set in the time frame of the first Jurassic Park movie, by all means, drop in. After that, our schedule follows the usual. 2 streams of Stardew, 2 streams of Gundam, and then Katawa Shoujo on the weekends. I hope everybody has themselves a good rest of the Sunday, and I'll see you next time.